Hello and welcome to FPL Natty. We are here yet again. Game week 9 is finished and we are looking forward to game week number 10. But there were some key standout players that I feel that you should have in your watch list or even straight in your team for game week number 10, and these are my ones to watch. But before we get started, I want to make sure that if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. We are a young community. There may be roughly around 20 of us at the minute, but let's get this up to 30. I'm looking for 30, maybe before the World Cup. If we can do even better than that, fantastic. If you're watching this and haven't subscribed, just press it. It's just down below. Press that subscribe button. Like this video if you are really liking the content that I'm doing. If you're not, tell me, write in the comments below. Don't press the dislike button, just ignore that one, but just write in the comments below if you want me to talk about something in particular. Also, up in the corner, up there is my league code for the FPL mini league that I have created for those that are watching this channel. So just join it. It won't take you a second. I think it's in the comments below as well. So just press it, join it, so we can grow that league over there. But yeah, this video, let's talk about what players I am looking at and who I might be bringing into my squad for game week number 10. So let's jump straight into this one, and the first person I have is Phil Foden. He is only 22 years old. Can you believe it? He is fantastic. And as we saw what he did against my team, Man United, he scored a hat-trick. Yeah, he scored a hat-trick at the Etihad on Sunday, and it got him 19 points. Now, a lot of people have knee-jerked themselves into buying him so far, which is why his ranking, I think, in terms of his ownership, has gone up now to maybe 12.1. I know it says 11.6 here, but it's gone up overnight, right? But to be honest, if you are looking at how he's actually been, he's only blanked twice in the last 5. He scored 4 and he's gotten 2 assists, and he's only 2 points behind Kevin De Bruyne at the top of the midfield list in all of FPL, really. So he's not just a one-game wonder. He has been consistently doing fantastic for City. And look at the fixtures he's got next. He has Southampton, who they're going to win against. He's got Liverpool, who they're definitely going to beat. Yes, there's a blank there, but I wouldn't be too worried about that, because after that, he's then got Brighton, Leicester, and then Fulham after that as well. So for £4 million less than Kevin De Bruyne, you can use that money elsewhere across your team. I will probably be bringing Foden in for this game week against Southampton, and I might take out Sterling, who has Wolves, even though I've just brought him in, but I think it's necessary just to capture the great form that he's in. I know that Pep won't be dropping him anytime soon. So you can bring him in either for Sterling, get some money in the bank, or if you've got Martinelli, Salah, Diaz, all those people are the most owned in FPL. Whereas Foden is very, very low owned, so he's technically a differential. So I think you should bring him in. I'm mostly likely you're going to bring him in. 51 points, 5 goals and 3 assists over the course of 8 games. Look at the guy. He's fantastic. So bring him in. Next up, we have this guy that everybody is talking about after his hat trick, Leandro Torreira. Currently, he's priced at 6.7 million, which is a fantastic price for a midfielder. And he may have worked himself into being a starter for Brighton the way he's playing. He has shown great form, and obviously he's playing such a forward line role up there with Welbeck that you're getting extra points even though he's classed as a midfielder. His high press is great. Again, close points to Foden. He's got 52 points, 5 goals and 2 assists, and he got a hat-trick against Liverpool. Liverpool is a tough team. Yes, they're going for a bit of a blip right now, but they are still a difficult team. So for him to get a hat-trick against that team, I think it shows the quality that he has, and he has been the most brought in player ahead of game week number 10. I think he's got over 380,000 new owners currently among the FPL managers. So with 48 points in his last 5 outings, he scored 5 goals, as I said, and assisting 2. Next game is against Spurs, and then Brighton, Forest, City, Chelsea, Wolves. for the first 3 games of those, yes, I think he can get some points at. Once it comes to City and Chelsea, it might be a bit tougher, but for only 6.7 million, he doesn't cost that much, so just bring him in. You have nothing to lose. He is going to cover off the Martinelli assets and maybe like a Saka. I'm just sticking with Arsenal because top of my head right now, or he's a lot cheaper than Bowen as well. So there are some other, you know, players that you can look at, but Trossard is definitely a good player to either have on your watch list or to consider putting him in your team because of the price point, basically. Now, moving on to this guy, I really think he's such a fantastic forward. If he can stay fit, I think that Gareth Southgate might look to bring him into the World Cup. Callum Wilson is a great Newcastle player. I think he's really, really good. So in the forward mark, 7.2 million. He is a good alternative for Mitrovic, who, as we know, is injured. You've got Ivan Toney as well, who goes through peaks and troughs in terms of his contributions to games, and also you've got Gabriel Jesus, who kind of is in that same vein of upfront strikers, but he costs less. He's 7.2. Okay, so I think he's always a threat into the box, and as he showed against the last win against Fulham, where they won 4-1, it shows the quality that he has. He is back with a bang, and it is his first appearance since game week number 3. You know, it's been a long time that he's been out injured. He does have a high injury record, but once he's in, he does really, really well. He scored 3 out of his 4 last outings, you know, so that shows the consistency he has up front. And with Isak being injured, we know that Callum Wilson is going to be the main lone striker at Newcastle, and his stats that he has currently shows how important he is to Eddie Howe's setup. 11 shots in the box, which is the most out of all the Newcastle players. 5 shots on target, again the most out of all the Newcastle players. And up next, as I said, they have Brentford. Now Brentford have been very, very good. I think they got a draw last week against Bournemouth, but Newcastle is a stronger side than Bournemouth is, and they're really going to press hard from the front, especially with St. Maximin if he's fit as well. And Almiron is in really good form, but up front, I know that this guy, Callum Wilson, is probably going to give you some returns. If not in that game, it's going to be against the Man United. Man United have been a bit shaky. If not against them, it's going to be against Everton. If it's not against them, Tottenham, look at his next fixtures. His next 6 are really, really strong. So I think you should be considering him as an upfront option for Mitrovic, for Toney, for Gabriel Jesus, for Solanke, if some of you have him, for Aubameyang. Literally, if you've got one premium forward, which is most likely going to be Haaland, make space for Callum Wilson because his fixtures look good and he's a very, very good player, especially when he's fit. Last but not least, we have Jarrod Bowen, who I've mentioned earlier, only 4.1% owned. He has such low ownership. Now, that could be because of how he started the season in terms of the fixtures that they had, but he hasn't been playing amazing for the first 8 fixtures or so that West Ham have had. But after the game that I saw against Wolves, that 2-0 win against Wolves, it shows that he seems to be back to his best form, particularly the form that he showed last season. And he is the leading midfielder in fantasy for shots in the box from game week 5 onwards. So it means that he is getting in the right positions, but maybe not necessarily delivering on a points basis as much as he was before. As we've seen how West Ham is set up at the minute, they are trying to work in a new striker, Samaka, I believe his name is, and they've got a few like kind of number 10 flair players around that they're also trying to work out where they're going to be playing, who's going to be first team. But we do know that Jarrod Bowen is a first team player for West Ham. He is a good finisher. His stats proved last year how much he got. He got 206 points last season, 12 goals and 17 assists. Like, that's amazing. So we know that the quality that he has, he's going to also be looking to try and push his way into the England team, where there may be some areas where there isn't a player that is like him in that area. And he does have some good fixtures coming up: Fulham, Southampton, Liverpool, Bournemouth, United and Crystal Palace. 5 out of 7 of those have a fixture difficulty rating of just 2. So that means that West Ham will be looking to press most of those and probably go for the win in the majority of those games that they've got coming up. At 8.1 million, yes, he might be slightly overpriced, but he's on my list. I currently have Zaha and Madison that are kind of around that same price point. I think Zaha may be 7.1 and Madison 8.1 or 8.2. So I know that if any of those players are going to drop off, or I feel like the fixtures that they have in the immediate term aren't going to be cutting it, then I will definitely be switching to Jared Bowen. It might even be an option for doing it this week, knowing that Fulham might be a bit light with Mitrovic off injured. He might be injured longer than they think. So I would have Jared Bowen very clearly at the top of my watch list. So put him there. Let me know what you think about that one. Those are my 4 people to watch for game week number 10. So there it is. As I said, there's only 4 key players that I feel that you need to be looking out for in game week number 10. Phil Foden, Trossard, Callum Wilson and Jared Bowen. Those are 4 fantastic midfield and forward options to boost yourself for the game weeks going forward. They have good fixtures. I think Trossard is the only one that may have slightly the hardest fixtures out of the 4, but he's in good form. He scored 3 against Liverpool. It kind of makes sense that he is going to be starting the next games that Brighton have under their new manager, and why not have him in your squad? He's shown what he can do already, so that just makes a lot of sense. So what do you think of those options? Have I missed out on some players? Actually, on my list I also could have added Connor Cody there as a defender for Everton, who's done really well. Who else I got? I got Martial, who's now looking like he's back to the best he was. Scored 2 goals against City. Also scored tonight in the Europa League as well. You got Firmino, who's looking like a completely different striker in the absence of Darwin Núñez, not really doing too amazing, and as he admitted himself, not really gelling in that team. And also got Aubameyang, who is going to be the #1 striker for Chelsea. So he could be someone that you could also be looking at as well. So those are some options there that I didn't include in this video, because I feel like the 4 that I have mentioned are slightly above those, and I want you to focus on those 4. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Have I missed out on a player you feel is essential for going forwards for game week number 10? I may look to make one adjustment in my team, that maybe taking out Sterling for one of these players, possibly, or maybe one of the forwards that I have for Callum Wilson. I'm still undecided on it. I might decide just last minute, because I know that this week the game week deadline is a bit later, so I'm not going to rush it, to be honest. So I will decide maybe on Friday evening or even Saturday morning, to be honest, depending on if there's any price rises, because that could really just mess everything up. But let's see what happens there. Before you go, make sure you follow this. Up there is my league code, my mini league code for FPL. Join it. It takes literally 2 seconds to click the link below in the description below for my mini league. Just join it, okay? Come on now, please just join it. Let's grow this community. But also subscribe if you haven't already. Why haven't you subscribed? If you're watching this video, why have you not subscribed? You have not seen my face before. If you have seen my face before, why haven't you subscribed? Come on, like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please let me know how I'm doing, and I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Take care.